Hello everyone and welcome. To start, I got the music in the background. It's Techno Axe's royalty-free music, so go check him out. Anyways, what I really want to get to, one thing I want to point out real quick is I've been playing DayZ standalone since just about it came out. As you see, the release date for the standalone was December 16th, 2013. I'm going to pause the video real quick so you don't see any of my account details, and I'm going to show you when I got the game. Alright, I'm here in my account details. As you can see, I got it December 25th, 2013. So I literally got it 9 days after it came out. So I've had the game since essentially it's come out. I know a good amount about it, but I don't know tons. I mean, I'm not like the super know-all guy. So one thing people may want to look into is there's this DaisyDB database. You can download, I believe, this as an app on your phone, so you can have it on your phone, don't have to use a screen. You can scroll in and out, move it around, so on and so forth. You can come up, I closed out of the ads and stuff, I reported them so that they weren't on there. You can go and search supplies, low, medium, high, and weapons, equipment, and clothes, and everything is color coordinated. So let's say you're in electro, you want, let's click this place. So this is a HMMWV wrecked, whatever that is. Probably some kind of object. Let's click a building here. There we go. So this building. Now we know this building spawns canned food there. It gives you a list. Pepsi, Coca-Cola, all these drinks. It can spawn 12 gauge, buckshot, 22 rounds, flares, all this ammo and everything that's possible. This is not what will be in the house. These are all possible loot spawns. Bolt, composite arrow, weapon cleaning kit, potato, green bell pepper, so on and so forth, food, the stove, and these are just random things that it'll have, clothings of some kind, and it'll list everything that's possible to spawn there. For example, the school, this is what it will spawn. So you get a rough idea of what is going on and everything. And this is standalone Chinaris that it's got for the map. There's the modded version of DayZ. It's got maps for, or modded version, whatever. You know what I mean. The modded version of Arma 2, the DayZ mod. It has maps for those as well, so you can find out. But you can go in and look at certain buildings and see, like, okay, house block C4, these are the things they can spawn. But you can go through and look at different things. Okay, these types of sheds, they spawn that, and look through and see what kind of stuff you want. It's say you want more camouflage clothing. Well, go through some of the list on some of the buildings and be like, okay, these ones are more likely to have them versus these ones. Like if you come down, I guess this isn't very updated. Also, the vehicles and the helicopter you see is crashes, but the vehicles are possible spawns. So that's a crashed police car, possibly. There's another one, another possible weapons, V3S, possible. But those are all possible vehicle spawns and everything. And you can come in, like, they got wells and stuff that it shows you where they are and everything. So it shows like just about everything you need in there, so you don't have to look for it. I believe this here, I want to say, oh no, there. I know that, I believe, is the apple tree field. So I guess it doesn't show apple trees, which is kind of shitty. But like hunting stands, boom. It shows you everything that spawns in those. So you can go through, you can look, see where things spawn and everything. You can, if you log in, you can create things. Oh, it's got crafting recipes and other items as well. But if you log in and you create an account and everything, you can create groups with your friends and be like, okay, you can read off the name of one of the towns, like Kimishogo, and this is what the sign will look like right there. That it has the sign name and what it's called. It's also got other ones like that, which is what people know them by. So you probably got ones like Green Mountain and so on and so forth. Just other ways to identify places. But you can come in and let's say, alright, so below the airstrip, say someone's down here, you're up here in this building. Okay, that's a 564 meter shot. You can tell how far it is and stuff. I'm not sure if it's DaisyDB for the app. It might be a different version, but on the one I was using, it would also tell you how long it would take to walk and run that far. So there's a lot of different things that can help you out. Just clicking on the little circles will tell you. Street booth, grocery, these are all possible spawns. Some things don't spawn stuff, some do. Jailhouse, it has possible spawns, but I haven't seen anything. Keep in mind these are all possible ones, not 100% definite. Also, they've added a military base down into this bottom left corner with a ton of cars that are backed up the road with tons of loot and stuff. The best places to go and search for loot are obviously the military bases, which there's one here, one here. There's the airstrip that has some. Cherno has changed a little bit. I believe there's one, I believe if you follow this road up, there's one roughly there. There's, I think one somewhere along this way, down here in Cherno. In Electro, I gotta zoom in, it is, so here's a shopping store, the school, and everything. So you got the shopping store, the office building or school that should be here, because this map is a little bit off, and other stuff, and it should be like right here in the center courtyard. There should be a military spawn, and obviously the airfields, hunting tents or deer stands, whatever, will have military type loot and stuff. I believe this is a military base over here or something, so if you want to swim there you can, or if you whatever. But yeah, and loot isn't too awful hard. I'm gonna try and keep this as short as possible and go through it as quick as possible, which there's a lot to go through. Another thing to keep in mind, I've seen people having problems with memory leaks and stuff like that. One thing I do is every month or every 2 months, depending, I go through and delete or uninstall my games. I right click and go to uninstall, and then I reinstall it. If people have lower internet speeds, like for example, I got 62 games. So I'll delete 2 games every day and reinstall them. Now, for example, games like Call of Duty Black Ops, they don't have updates coming out for that. So the game is essentially the way it is. Games like DayZ, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds that have updates coming out, for example, Payday 2, Rust, IL-2, Stormkov Battle of Stalingrad, all have updates. So they are most likely going to be my next games that I delete and reinstall because they just updated. And what this does is when a game is updated, there are new game files, but there are also sometimes old game files that are deleted, sometimes they're not, and these old game files will still run in the background even though they have no effect on the game, and they create a memory dump. So every once in a while it's nice to uninstall and reinstall your games. As you see, the status reports come out twice a month. So if you do them once a month, that's every 2 updates or whatever that they put out status report wise. Or any time that they update it, if you uninstall or reinstall if you really want to. But I do about once a month or once every 2 months. I'll uninstall a game and reinstall it, and that just keeps most all of the files that aren't used anymore that create memory dumps and stuff out of there. Because there's, for example, in Arma 3, I played Arma 3 Life with a group of friends. A couple of them were experiencing problems with memory dumps and memory leaks, where all their graphics would get fucked up. Sometimes they would get kicked out of the game. Sometimes they would only get 1 FPS and they couldn't see anything, and a bunch of other problems. And I told them what I do. Some of them I know of deleted or uninstalled, which all you gotta do is right click and go to uninstall the game. Once it's fully uninstalled, you can click install back up here again. Now, another thing, some people might be like, well, I don't want to uninstall a game and then have to wait for it to install. Well, most people work or go to school, so if you uninstall, let's say you're only able to do 2 or 3 games a day, uninstall 3 games, set them up to install, and while you're at work or at school and sleeping, let it download. And then you can download it while you're not on the computer or not using it at all, and it downloads, and then when you come back, it should be downloaded depending on your internet speed and everything. So it's an easy way to clear those memory dumps that happen because people don't uninstall and reinstall the games. I mean, even with my Xbox, because I get a lot of digital games, I'll uninstall and reinstall the games if they come out with an update or a patch or something else. Now, if a game doesn't come out with a patch all the time, like say, maybe Fallout 4 will come out with a patch or something, or The Forest or something else. When it comes out with a patch and it doesn't come out with a patch very often, I'll usually uninstall and reinstall then. So sometimes it's a case-by-case basis. Like Call of Duty, I won't uninstall and reinstall because they're not updating or putting patches in or anything. So uninstalling the game and reinstalling it is very helpful. For DayZ, because this is what this main video is mainly for, if you go to DaisyDB or download a similar app on your phone, you can log in and everything, and you can join a group with your friends, and you can usually, well, on there you can click and be like, this is where this is, or this is where that is, or whatever, and you can set up, like, say you, I know the one I was using, you can be like, Camarovo to there, to Belota, to there, to Cherno, and we'll be like, alright, that's 10-15 minutes, or whatever it'll take to run, or walk, and then you know roughly how long it's going to take you to go there, and then you have your time for checking houses and stuff in between. Now the next video, or next part of this video, is going to be me in game, or in DayZ. So I'm gonna stop this video and start the recording on the other one. And the stuff that I have in that other part of the recording literally took me 45 minutes. I can upload the video if you want of the 45 minutes of me actually searching around and finding this stuff, but I'll make a quick video on finding items and everything and roughly where to look and whatnot. So I'll be right back. It'll be like a split second for you. It'll be just a minute for me. So I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. So I'm in game. I'm going to go over my settings first. I'm getting about 30 frames a second in game on average, between 25 to 40 or 50 depending on where I am and stuff. This is my normal settings and everything that I'm just going to click through real quick. Now on video, I do custom daytime servers. Brightness and gamma are the same, but if I play on a nighttime server, I turn those up so I can see better. I turn VSync off because I don't really need it, because the only time that's really needed is if you got a computer that runs super high on frame rate and you get screen tearing. If you got a computer that's only getting 25 to 30 frames a second, it's probably not worth it to turn it on. Objects and terrain I turn to normal so they look okay. Clouds I turn to low because I'm not worried about what clouds look like. Shadows I don't worry about because usually I work off of sound and where people are by hearing them, rather than seeing their shadow or something else. Usually I hear them before I see a shadow. My resolution, I always go to windowed and maximize it so that everything is the way it should be, size wise and resolution wise. Bloom and rotation blur I turn off because those are post-process like effects that don't really matter, because rotation blur, all it's going to do is when you look left and right or up or down or change the way you look, it's going to blur. Which I like to have a crisper image so that if I see someone, it doesn't blur them with the background. It's still somewhat pronounced. Ambient occlusion I disable, which is lighting, I believe, like sun rays and other things like that, where light affects the screen, like as if you were to look into the sun. I disable those. Post-process I turn to low. HDR quality I turn to very low. Doesn't really bother me. Edge smoothing I turn FXAA onto low because I want some of that smoothing, but I don't want it blocky, so I don't disable it, but I want it smooth somewhat so it still looks okay, because it can, I don't care for the look of that. I like the smoothing on it. It makes everything softer to the eyes versus that being very harsh and you seeing the outlines. So I always keep it on low. Alpha coverage I disable, and anti-aliasing I disable as well. Other than that, all the controls and stuff are the same. Your mouse sensitivity and stuff is all based off of what you use. For finding servers, usually what I do is I turn accelerated time off because I don't care for accelerated time servers. This is going to be probably very choppy and laggy for the video because it's loading a shit ton of servers. Also, I use public shard only. I don't play private servers because I don't get to keep my character and they don't persist onto other servers on a private server. So I use a public shard of the game and everything. So usually I sort this by ping. It'll give me the servers that are most likely closest to me and that are closer to my internet connection. Like today, it's daytime here, so it's daytime in the game, roughly where I am, which I mean Illinois, New Jersey, Georgia, Atlanta, Dallas, Atlanta, Texas, so on and so forth. As you can tell, I live in the United States. In population, it'll have low, medium, or high. depending on the server, that'll tell you an amount. I believe on 60-person servers, it's 0 to 20 is low, 21 to 40 is medium, and 41 to 60 is high amount of players, or build, or full. So usually to find loot, I go to a lower population server with a better ping, usually in daytime because I don't want to play at night, because I'm not worried about sneaking around. Usually I'll find the basic amount of loot that I need. So I'm going to connect to this server real quick, and just because it's the lowest ping, it's daytime, and it's low population. So while connecting to this, there's a thing you can do. It opens up your Steam, whatever the fuck it is, where it, I forgot what it's called. Any loads, I'll show you. Alright, Shift Tab. You can, now if you come here, you can click View Players, and there we go. So I know there are 2 other people on this server. So that's the way you can find out how many people are on a server. But keep in mind, you will have to like actually count that and see how many people there are. So real quick, I'm gonna pick up duct tape because it can be useful quite a bit. So these are all things I found within 45 minutes of spawning near this town. So I went to a police station. There is a police car outside. I found the jacket, found the pants inside, found the holster inside, found the Makarov inside, the clip for the Makarov inside the police station, cuffs inside the police station, maybe a lockpick, I don't remember. But I found 2 lockpicks, a knife. I found a few knives when I played. I found 380 auto rounds. I found more 380 autos and a PM73 rack mag. Actually, I'm going to load that. So now I got a full PM73 rack mag. So if I find one, I have a usable SMG. I have a full Makarov IJ70, which has a full mag and 1 in the chamber. I have a video of this already, showing the apple glitch working. What you gotta do is you gotta walk up to the tree, and when it says search for apples, you gotta press F, and you gotta try keep your mouse still in the same spot where it says search for apples, and just keep pressing F, and eventually, if it doesn't work the first time, eat the apple, whatever, if you find one, or do it again. You don't want it to go to cancel action, because it will cancel it. Found a water bottle. I found 4 cans of soda. I found these 2 cans of food while I was searching. So with the apple trees, actually, I think that's some out there. I don't really want to mess around in the rain because my character will get sick. Okay, there's some apple trees down there. So I'll go do the apple glitch real fast and then get in that building. I'll probably log off not long after this. Also, if you go to a well, you can, so if I press F, search for apples, and then keep pressing it while trying to keep my mouse in the same spot, as you can, nope. Search, keep pressing, nope. Search. You gotta try to keep it in the same spot. It can be hard to do this because you might have to move your mouse a little bit to keep it there. There you go. As you can see in the bottom left, I'm doing the apple glitch where I can keep searching. Every once in a while your character will do the action and it'll stop that, but then it'll pick back up and everything. And just in the few seconds of doing this, there we go, a ton of apples. Apples give you food and water. Let me get out of there and get inside so I'm not getting wet. Look, there we go, a shirt. That's another thing. If you see clothing, backpack, anything, go over to it, look inside. A lot of loot spawns inside of clothing now. Oh, I moved that to the wrong spot. There. Let's get rid of a duct tape because I already got one. I took a shirt, tore it up. I got 5 rags. I mean, I got just about everything I need. I found a hatchet and a shed, or an axe, I should say. So I can cut firewood with the axe and everything and find firewood. If I find matches, I'll get that. But you can also chop a stick off of trees using a knife or an axe. If you do that, you get a long stick. Usually it might take up this slot, or it might be in your hands. If you create a fire and everything, you can take, for example, a piece of chicken. Like if you kill a chicken, usually you'll hear one clucking around from time to time. You can use an axe, a knife, whatever, go and kill it. You gotta use a knife. Now, if you don't have a knife, you can search rocky parts of the road or something. If you find like a gravel section, or whatever, you can search for rocks or stones. And when you search for the stones, you can, once you find one, you can use that stone and craft an improvised knife. And then you can use that to skin and quarter the chicken. You get 2 chicken breasts per chicken. All you gotta do is go over to your fire, and there should be an option to cook it over the fire. You go ahead, cook your chicken over top of the fire. What that will do is start to cook the chicken. Once it changes a color and everything, like it'll turn red in your inventory or whatever, but once you see the chicken change actual color on the little box or whatever you have for it, it'll be like a box like this, an outlined box with the stick in your hands, and the chicken will be in that. Once you see it change, I believe like a yellowish color, it is cooked. If you leave it on too much longer, it'll turn to charcoal and or burnt, and it'll actually make you sick. If you eat it raw, it'll make you sick. But like I said, apple glitch works. You can get tons of apples, which give you food and water. Not tons of water or anything because of the juice of the apple. So if you get full or energized, you can just find a well using that DaisyDB or another map app for the game. And essentially all you want to do is come into the building. Sometimes there's stuff that can be on top of shelvings and stuff like that. On top of one of those there might be something, and sometimes I've seen stuff like in there or in or on top of the sink or on the floor or under the table or on top of one of those, or I mean, there's a lot of different places that you can find loot. Sometimes under beds, not very common. So there's a lot of different ways to find loot. Literally in 45 minutes, because of the apple trees, I was able to get enough food and water. Now if you become full, you can continue to eat or drink, and you will become so full that you'll throw up. That's an easy way to get rid of sickness. Like if you become sick because you ate raw chicken, or you ate burnt chicken or something else and you got sick and you got a sickness, an easy way to usually get rid of it, I'm not 100% if it works on every type of sickness, is if you usually I do it with a well, and I'll just sit there and keep pressing F and spamming it until my guy throws up. Once he throws up, you'll lose a little bit of hydration and energized stat. This will probably go back down to normal, where it's not lit up and it's just blank. Then you'll have an empty stomach. You can eat a couple items, become energized, eat, drink real quick, become hydrated again, so that you're not way down, and you can get rid of a sickness that way. I wouldn't do it all the time because I don't know if it'll make you sick or worse that way. Also, cars, they'll spawn loot on the ground around them, inside the back trunk, or in where the doors are. So it's always nice to look at cars and stuff to find loot. Other than that, literally I found all this stuff in 45 minutes of playing DayZ. Everything that you see on me. Plus I found more stuff that obviously I can't pick up or don't want. right now, if you go to like, and what I would do is do something like this. I have plenty of food, something that gives me water from food, the apples. I believe these will give you a little bit. I got a bottle for water. I got cuffs where I can cuff people. I got tape where I can tape someone up, or make, if I get a long stick using the axe or the knife, I can chop it into thirds and make a splint so I can fix a broken leg. I got plenty of ammo because the PM73 uses 380 auto, along with the Makarov uses 380 auto, so I got not only full clip there, but I also got 35 rounds there, plus 4. I found 10 308 Winchester rounds. I mean, I got 2 lockpicks so I can lock doors and stuff, or unlock them if I need. Working boots, glasses, hat, police uniform and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I found in literally just 45 minutes of playing the game. And I mean, I want to do it on a server like this where it's raining, but one where it's actually sun out, not raining. I would go building to building, searching for loot and stuff, and just find what I can. Another thing I want to talk about as well real quick, I've seen people talking about, well, the Mosin is weak, you fire so many rounds through it, whatever. In real life, it takes a lot of care to take care of a gun. Like, you gotta clean and oil the gun, you gotta take it apart and make sure every part is clean. You don't get dirt in it because it could jam, it could misfire or something else. Along with that, if you're firing bullets, like, for example, who knows how good these bullets are? Okay, look, damaged and damaged, worn. You see? Like, so we know these bullets aren't in good condition, which means they're probably scratched, scuffed, maybe dented a little bit or something else. Who knows, they might have too much powder in them. Now, some people might be like, well, having too much gunpowder isn't a problem. Well, it's a problem when you fire the bullet and the unburnt gunpowder sticks to the inside of the barrel, which would cause problems where the bullet may not fire, or it may get lodged in the barrel. And if you get a bullet lodged in the barrel and you try to fire another bullet, it will cause a pressure buildup and possibly blow up the barrel of the gun, causing the gun to explode and become damaged. You would have to find another barrel or something else. So in real life, taking care of a gun is very difficult. But if you take care of a gun properly, you can fire thousands and thousands of rounds through it and have no problem. But for example, if there's, like this case, there's a zombie apocalypse, who knows how long that gun's been sitting, rusting, and not been taken care of, and you're gonna sit there and fire hundreds of bullets through it without cleaning it, it's more likely to mess up than for, say, let's say, an AK. A Mosin probably isn't as common in the military as an AK would be, for example, in Russia, because AKs are more likely a military weapon there, and military weapons are pretty well taken care of, which is usually why you can fire a couple hundred rounds through it, have no problem before it even hardly gets messed up. Because the guns have been cared for, they've been taken care of the entire time, in the entire life of the gun, versus a Mosin that you would find in a hunting stand or in a building or something else. Because that gun's probably been sitting around, it's probably a decorative piece, not a firing piece. You don't fire the gun often, if at all. So there's probably a lot of rust, and it's probably not well taken care of, and which can lead to problems. So in reality, a Mosin firing 40 to 50 shots, I would say probably needs to be clean. But after it becomes clean, you could probably fire another 100, 150 before you would want to clean it. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense, but I think if they extended it a little bit, it would be helpful. Um, One thing I do want to talk about, this is mainly for the developers of the game and stuff. I'm glad, and I'm glad to see that you guys have been working on it and you are continuing to work on it. I've seen people like, oh, this is a scam, it should be removed from Steam and everything. Keep in mind, this is a working game. You can find guns, they shoot, you have good running animations, you can actually do things, and you can play online with other people. You can find loot, you can shoot people. It's a what DayZ is a most commonly known as a zombie horror survival multiplayer game. You can play online with other people, multiplayer. Okay? Zombies. There are not a ton of zombies right now. If you're in a town, they had a map of this before. I don't know if they still have it up or where you can find it. But zombies aren't going to spawn in a field randomly. How often would you see a zombie out in a cornfield or something else that's out of town? They're very uncommon because people aren't usually out there. But versus a city or something like Cherno or Electro, they'll tend to have more zombies. So when you go into Electro or another town, for example this one, it'll spawn more zombies based on how big the town is, because there are more likely to be more people there. So the zombie spawning is actually more realistic. Actually, there could be a couple more, but if you are crouched and you crouch up to a zombie like this, you can literally walk up right behind a zombie without them seeing you and take an axe, stand up, and be able to hit them in the head and kill them. You can sneak up right behind the zombies. Now, if you're in the middle of the road, you might want to lay down, or you might want to be farther off. Like, there you go. You just heard a zombie walking around. That was a zombie. I don't know where, but there's a zombie walking around. You can hear the footsteps. I heard that yesterday and it was worrying me because they're not very loud footsteps, and the zombies don't moan a lot anymore, so it is kind of weird and everything. But there are zombies around. The longer you stay, the more likely zombies are to be there. But yeah, so there's a lot of ups and downs. Whoop. Close. Alright. But yeah, there's a lot of ups and downs to the game, but for the most part, it is playable and everything. It's playable. I mean, I'm not running on a great computer or anything. I get a decent frame rate. Yes, they could optimize it a little bit better. But what I would like to see is more of the core gameplay, like getting more weapons and items fleshed out so that there's more to choose from and they are more common and more realistic. For example, in a house, chances are you're going to find more like food, clothing, and other stuff like that versus a weapon. If you do find a weapon, it'd be kind of regulated on what you would find, so you find less powerful, maybe a 22 or something smaller wise, or a rifle that's bolt action or something like that, versus finding like an M16 or an AK in a house. That is very, very uncommon. If you find an AK or M16 in someone's house, unless it is very old, it would probably be very uncommon. I know this is running on and stuff. I just wanted to talk a little bit about it. But police stations, houses, sheds, and stuff are usually what I search. But if you see any piece of clothing or backpack or anything that has storage space in it, always walk up to it, press tab, and look into the inventory, because that is how you can find a lot of items. Because that's how they're putting them now, or more commonly anyway, is that these are in items, like, because not everything is just going to be laid out on the floor. Why would there be tons of food and clothing and all this stuff just laid and sprawled out on the floor? Well, clothing is a different story, but like matches or something else might be in a pants pocket or something else, because like I know if I come home from work I might leave my keys or a pen or a lighter or something else in my pockets and just not worry about it until I go to do my laundry. So it's more common to find stuff in clothing or backpacks or something else, some kind of a storage space. So if you ever come across like clothing, always go over top of it and search, because you never know what's inside, and you're not going to see it all laying on the ground until you come up and actually check it. But easy way to find food, which I just showed you. You can go to just about any well and just spam it and get full on water. Apples give you water. Like I said earlier, I found 4 cans of soda. As you can see here, 2 cans of food. I got 4 apples in my inventory, plus all the apples I left outside. I mean, you can find food and water pretty easily. The apples will give you a good amount of water. Usually you don't have to drink. And if you keep yourself at a hydrated and healthy state, hydrated and energized, actually, I need to eat. I dropped one because I swapped it. So there we go, hydrated and energized. I'll probably eat another one or whatever. I don't know why I keep doing that. But now, because my character's in a healthy state, he'll keep the hydrated and energized he'll be more likely to keep that stat. So I can run longer distances, and also being hydrated and energized will make it so that you run a little bit faster. It's not like a huge difference or anything, but you can run faster being hydrated and energized. Healthy will help with that. So yeah, it's not a bad thing to like, and you can find apple trees, they're all the same exact thing. They have that fork in them and everything, and you can see the apples. Now there are some trees that don't have the fork that look like they have the apples in them and look like the apple trees, but they're not. But so you know, those are what apple trees look like. They're very common. You can usually find one in just about every town or near farms or something else. There's probably 6 or 7 groups of apple trees in this town that I've come across while searching it before. So it's very common to find apples. I just showed you guys how to get infinite apples. I showed you guys how to find loot and everything. Hopefully this helps people out. I hope developers get a big kick and just like pound this game out and get it done as fast as possible, and everything. And to the people that are like, oh, this should be taken down, it's a scam. First off, at least they're still working on it, unlike a lot of other games that people just leave and don't fuck with anymore. And it is a working game. It has all the stuff that basic DayZ, other than base building and some vehicles and stuff, has. It has weapons, it has clothes, it has food, it has other items for you to craft things, and you can actually craft a backpack or craft a ghillie suit, and you can actually craft those things. You gotta find, for a ghillie suit, you find burlap straps, or burlap sacks, and you cut them using a knife into burlap straps. And if you go along the coast looking at fishing boats, some fishing boats spawn netting. You can use the netting and burlap straps if you look up the crafting recipe to craft ghillie suits. You can make and do just about anything in this game. So it is a functioning game. If you guys, another thing, if you uninstall and reinstall the game, you can get a better running game. Sorry. Now keep in mind, servers with a lot of people are probably going to run slower than servers with not very many people at all. Also, larger cities where you have a lot more buildings, more zombies, more items, are going to run slower than they would a house in the middle of nowhere. So always keep that in mind. Good places to look are houses, sheds, police stations, and military loot spots. Other than that, I don't know what else to tell you guys. I hope this helped people out. I hope you guys enjoy. If you have any other questions, leave a comment down below and I'll take a look at it and see what I can do or figure out for you guys, or make another video. If you guys want to see the 45 minutes of me actually searching around to see where I looked and stuff, leave a comment or message me somehow, letting me know, and I'll try my best to make sure I get that out so you guys can actually see it and everything. Once again, I hope this video helped you guys out and everything, so I'll see you guys in the next one or another time, or in DayZ or another game. Till next time, remember, make every day a better day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.